Sweet, Damien. All right, it's rolling, man. But thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just trying to humanize a lot of folks that are dehumanized. And I don't know you, but I just met you, and I just start from the beginning of Damien. Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Southern California.
Oh yeah, what part?
Whittier.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar.
East Los Angeles, Whittier, Commerce.
Yep. Were you raised with mom and dad?
No, just my mom. She had, I had stepdad, she had boyfriends and stuff like that. So just mainly her and me.
Gotcha. And tell me about your home life. What was that like?
For a while it was great. You know, it was good. It was, me and my mom. Then my stepdad came in the picture and shit got a little rocky.
When he came in?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I don't think he knew how to raise kids. And he came from abusive background, so I think that in turn came onto me. And after a while, I couldn't take it anymore, so I was homeless.
So, at what age were you like, I'm out of here?
Early teens.
Oh, wow.
I started getting into punk rock, and I noticed there was more kids on the street, and it felt like more of a home to me than my own home.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was searching for.
Yeah.
At home it was not good, and I was searching for that family, and I found it on the streets, unfortunately. But at that point, I wasn't allowed to come back home.
You weren't, yeah.
No,
because they were like, once you left.
Yeah, once I left, it was over. I was doing drugs and living that lifestyle, and it just started tumbling from there and getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah. So you left your family to go find family. Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, you're a teenager. You're in the punk rock scene. You're hanging around with these. Well, first of all, tell me some shows you were going to, and what kind of bands were you doing?
It was a lot of the UK bands, Verukers, Anti-Nor League, the Partisans, Agent Orange, Black Flag, Misfits. I have so many shows that I've been to. Awesome.
What years were these?
2000, 99,
oh, gotcha.
99,
Okay.
2000, 2001, around there.
Gotcha.
A lot of shows came through Southern California that were amazing. The Addicts, Blitz, Defects. There's so many.
And you were on the streets this whole time?
Yeah, I was homeless the whole time.
Gotcha.
It was other kids and travelers coming through, and it was that family that I wanted.
Yeah.
I was free. I was having fun. I was enjoying life and happy.
Yeah.
And then drugs came in the picture and things became unhappy.
Tell me about that transition of how did you get introduced to drugs?
Everyone else did it, and I wanted to fit in.
Yeah.
And I tried it, and I loved it.
What was your drug?
Heroin.
Gotcha.
Heroin was that love that everyone describes. It was that blanket that it was everything I needed that I never got. And eventually my buddy got locked up, and I traveled. I left around 2001. Me and my buddy said, fuck, let's go to New York. So we drove to New York, and I was homeless there for a while. I met some other traveling kids, and I started traveling and just tramping around. And I ended up going back home a little bit with my mom.
Was your stepdad still there?
No, he was gone, and that didn't work out, because once again drugs came into the picture, and I ended up going back to that, because I didn't know how to live. Like I said, I was raised on the streets basically, and I didn't know how to hold down a job. I didn't know how to go to school. I didn't know how to do anything except do what I wanted to do and do what completed me.
So you're in New York. How old are you?
16 going on 17.
Oh yeah, like a kid.
Yeah, I was a kid.
Wow. And how long did you stay there?
Oh, I was there for about 2 years, I think. I was there, and then I left there, went back to California, and then California got in some trouble with the law, and I got a possession charge with no drugs. They waited till I was sick from I was sick from the heroin, and then they said if you plead guilty, you get out. So I pled guilty. I didn't fight it, unfortunately, and that gave me a felony at the time.
Oh, gotcha.
And I kept going in and out of jail, and and eventually I was doing longer and longer time.
Yeah, you're just in the system.
I just got in the system. It got worse and worse and worse. It seemed like every time I would be out, I would go right back in. You know, and I was looking for a way, and I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna start traveling again. Fuck it. You know, so I went up to Oregon, and then at that point, early 20s, and then I came back down. I started riding the railroad. I went down to New Orleans, and then I caught a train from New Orleans over to Florida, and then up to Baltimore.
To tell me about that again, the transition of. I mean, I couldn't imagine being like, I think I'm going to ride the railroad. I have no idea how that works. But you knew people who were doing it?
Yeah, I knew people that were doing it.
Let's go.
Yeah. I don't know, at first there was a lot of it, you know, it was adventurous. It was cool to see things I never saw before. And, you know, it was like the books until the hard times came, you know, and I was already used to that, you know, and it kind of sprung back to life. Like, okay, I'm in a world of shit. Fuck it. You know, I'm going to make the best of it. And at that point, I made the best of it with that. And you know, I would party, I would do drugs and stuff and hang out, but I would keep going and moving. I wouldn't stay in one spot and be stuck on it.
Gotcha. Like stuck on, what do you mean?
Stuck on heroin or stuck on drugs and doing the same thing over and over again. It allowed me to have a little more freedom and get out there, you know. And then I developed a love for the railroad and riding trains.
Yeah. So from what year? When you jumped on the train the first time, how old were you?
Oh God, 2000. The first time I did it was in Pittsburgh in 2004, I believe.
And then you did it for how long? Did you travel?
It's been on and off from 2004 until 2013.
Oh yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah. I basically just kept, because I had the felony warrant in California, so I would just stay away from there. I would do a whole big circle around the country, and then
got it.
Yeah, I would go from Oregon and go back, because you know, at that point California was gonna give me 4 years, and I'm not doing 4 years.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
You know, so I would just spring back and forth, and eventually I developed a bond and a kinship with a lot of people, a lot of really good people out there. That's the really hard part for me, though. A lot of those, I'm sorry, I'm nervous, man. But a lot of those people are gone, you know.
From what?
Fuck. Overdoses, health, everything from brain aneurysms to cancer to falling off trains.
Again, it was your family.
Yeah.
Part of your family.
Yeah. And I just noticed that it just kept getting worse, and I kept getting more alone. Back to square one almost.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, it's really hard for me.
That's okay. No, man. I mean, I think part of everyone's stories is like this, up and down.
Oh yeah.
And there's hard parts to my life.
Yeah.
And you're talking about hard parts of your life, and it's completely normal and natural to feel emotion.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and like I said before, I didn't know how to really have a relationship with anybody. I didn't know how to hold down a job. You know, and I got into a long-term relationship on the road.
Oh, really? Was that person traveling with you?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They're traveling with me. They're a great person. I'm not going to badmouth them. Eventually, we would work and then travel and then work and travel. And I don't want to say that all traveling kids are just fucking degenerate, you know, scumbags. There's a lot of good people out there who love trains, who love the freedom, who, you know, that's what they want to do and that's what they are for the rest of their life.
Right.
But my story, it involved a lot more drugs. You know, it was like that. It was my own home. It was a place I could crawl into and hide. And that's, you know, like a lot of my tattoos and stuff, I got those because I wanted to hide from the world. I don't like who I was, so I put on a face.
Yeah.
You know, essentially.
Yeah.
But it evolved and it grew to the point where when it was out of control, I felt comfortable.
Like in the chaos, kind of?
Yeah. You know, the worse it got, the more I thrived, and I became used to that. And we were traveling, and I was in Portland, and I found out my partner was pregnant. And I got on a program, I got off drugs, I was doing a program, and we had a kid. We had a daughter. Her name's Bronson. Yeah, this is a really hard part for me right now.
How old is Bronson?
She's gonna be 10.
Yeah, my girl's gonna be 10 in November.
Yeah, I haven't been the greatest person for that, situation. I would try, and I would end up going back. It was like a never-ending cycle of addiction that kept going up and down and up and down. And I wasn't the greatest partner either, to her. We weren't good for each other. But I didn't know that. I just clung on to what was comfortable at the time.
We've all done that. All of us have done that.
And she's a great person. She's a great mom. And my addiction got worse and worse. Till eventually I was on the streets. I lost my home. I had motorcycles. I built up a life.
Oh, so you were housed with your partner?
Yes.
With your daughter?
Yeah, I built up a life. I thought I could do it, and I thought I could handle it. But eventually, once things got bad, I went right back to drugs. And I'm what I'm getting at with this is that at this point in my life right now is that I'm trying to not go that route again because things are bad. Things aren't good right now. Things got bad and I lost all that. I was in Arizona, and my mom let me come back home for a little bit. And it kept, without the drugs, I was empty. And in between this, there's also multiple suicide attempts. I've tried to take my life 4 or 5 times. I've hung myself. I've cut my wrists, and a few overdoses. I know that the drugs destroyed my dopamine and serotonin in my brain, so I don't have. I feel when I'm clean, I feel empty.
Right.
I don't have happiness. I don't have sadness. I don't have anything. And that's what I was really, really, really fucking scared of, is that it's just going to be the same thing over and over again.
Like when you're sober.
Yeah.
You're scared to be sober.
Yeah, I was scared to be sober.
Interesting.
And I ended up going up north to Washington, up here in Washington actually, and I couldn't handle that home life. I didn't know what to do. I felt lost. And things got bad, and I tried to get into a relationship and do that. That didn't work. I ended up parting ways with that in my life, and where I'm at now, I feel like I need to get back on a train and ride and get this out of my head before it gets worse and worse.
So when you say get this out of my head,
just not go back to using, not.
Gotcha.
Because it's the same thing over and over again. And I'm at a point in my life where I realize that now.
Couple of things. You're talking about you feel empty, but I'm curious about, you had some strong emotion when we talked about your daughter.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like emptiness to me. What do you feel when you think about her?
I love her. I do. I love her, and I've been separated statewide.
Yeah.
There's been a distance between us with that, and that's really kicked my emotions into gear.
How long has it been since you've seen her, talked to her?
I haven't talked to her a bit. I haven't had a phone. I was trying to go through a program here that helps you get your life back together and stuff. And I'm on Suboxone, and they wouldn't allow MAT, which is medicated assisted treatment.
Okay.
So I couldn't go in that program.
Okay.
And now I'm at a point where I have no phone. I have no gear. I have no sleep bedroll. I have no fucking change of clothes, basically. I have everything that's in my backpack I have, and that's it. And right now, it's like a crossroads for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's been cold and wet in Seattle.
Oh, it's been miserable.
Where have you been sleeping?
Wherever I can. Under awnings, under bridges, wherever I can.
Yeah. Damien, what is it that you need?
What I need is, I need to I need to get another phone. I have a life or one of those track phones they give away that are free.
Okay.
And I need gear, and I need to get my ass in gear and fucking ride and get into a program and get my life back together.
Yeah. Your daughter's in Arizona?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, she needs you.
Yeah, I know. That's why I want to go from here. I want to go south, and I want to get to Arizona, and I want to get into a program and get my life on track again.
Yeah, in Arizona.
Yeah.
A question I like to ask, Damien, is there something that you want the people of Seattle to know?
That I'm just a person like everybody else, you know, and I'm lost here. You know, I want my family, my daughter. I want to be home.
Yeah, I can hear that. Yeah, I want that too, man. Anything else you want to share?
Yeah, it's the hardest part for me is that it seems like failure. Like, I try to be a father, a good person, you know, I work a job, support my family and all this stuff. But I get so overwhelmed, and I don't know how to deal with these emotions. And when I have them, I don't know how to deal with them. When I'm not on MAP treatment, I don't know how to deal with them because there's nothing there. It's constantly a back and forth, and it's really hard. It's really hard just to keep myself together.
Yeah, when you don't have the tools and you never learn the tools, I mean, it took me a long time and a lot of therapy. I'm a huge fan to like work on that. And I fortunately had the job, had the money to do therapy. It's just like, I can see if you don't have those tools and you get stuck and like, I mean, I hear people who are doing drugs, I'm like, oh, they're coping. They're just coping.
Yeah.
And you know, everyone copes in different ways. Some people do play video games and watch movies and smoke weed, alcohol, tons of different ways. And like, you know, everyone finds their thing to cope with.
Yeah, because if I don't cope, I'm like this. I'm a ball of just mess. I'm like constantly walking around crying. I'm like, fuck.
Right. Yeah.
It's just constant pain.
Yeah. And so to help numb out the pain, you're like, oh wow, this thing can help me. But it's like, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, I don't tell you, it really doesn't. It's not a long-term solution, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Man, that is tough.
I feel like getting on a train and going back to Arizona would be a good way to clear my head and get my my footing and kind of restabilize my mindset. Yeah. You know, like what is that word I'm looking for? Ground myself.
Yeah. You know people in Arizona?
Oh yeah. I have connections with programs and different things that they do to help people.
Support systems.
Yeah. Yeah, they got a couple good programs there that house people and give you the tools to, you know, have a house, a job, and relive. But I also need to go into therapy and counseling because I don't know if there's certain things that I need to work on before I can even do those things.
Yeah.
And that's been the biggest fault.
Yeah, it's a lot of so many moving parts.
Yeah.
That you got to like all do it, like all of these things, and it's hard. I mean, that just sounds hard. But people do it. But people do it.
Yeah.
Right? But people have done it. So.
Yeah, and also too, I look at it like, you know, I'm 38, and I've been in a bad lifestyle from young age to now. I have a lot of story, and I have a lot where I could give. And I went through it really fast because I'm really nervous. But, you know, again, like, you know, there's people I can help, you know, and I know that there's a path for me, and like a big thing is that I would get jobs, and then I couldn't handle it. Right. You know, it'd be like a month or 2 months, or I get my shit together for 6 months, a year, and then all of a sudden, boom, it would drop off. You know?
Yeah, man, I hear you. Well, I like you said, I know this is 20 minutes, a half hour of a little bit of Damien's story, but you know, I appreciate your time, man, and thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
And you know, I think within this, you're helping somebody. somehow, some way. It's my hope.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here this long, you know,
Yeah,
fucking all the suicide attempts and drugs and all that shit. I'm still here. There's got to be, you know.
Well, I mean, your daughter, man. It's like I got 2
Yeah.
daughters. They are huge motivators for me. Like, they have to be.
Yeah.
If I'm not on my game, it's like I got to be
Yeah,
there for them, show up for them.
That guilt is just like, it's like a fucking boulder.
Yeah.
It's the biggest fucking, just, I feel like I'm carrying it, and when it gets worse, I feel like I'm in trouble almost. It's like, I'm scared, you know?
Yeah. Man. Hang in there.
I am. I'll get there.
Let me grab that mic. You up for a hug, man?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's hard stuff.